Welcome again to our weekly meditation, to this time of rest and relaxation and a bit of reflection. So just become aware of where you are, where you're sitting. Become aware of your own presence. Just maybe look at your hands and where you place them. Adjust your feet on the floor. Adjust your bottom on the seat, on the chair or the sofa. And if you can, keep a straight back posture, that would be good as well. But no judgment here. We are just being in this space. If it helps to close your eyes, do so, or to lower your gaze, or to look at the image on the screen. Before we start our first breathing, just an opening thought and running on from last week and from the celebration of the season of Christmas, the idea of the flow of love and of oneness. Just thinking that through the act of creation, and as that image on the screen perhaps just gives an inkling of the extent, the vastness of creation in space and time, but the eternally outflowing divine presence was manifested into the physical and material world through the very act of creation. So that since the very beginning of time, God's Spirit has been revealing its glory and goodness through the physical creation. And Christians believe, and have just celebrated in the festival of Christmas, that God's presence was also poured into a single human being, so that humanity and divinity can be seen to be operating as one in him, and therefore amazingly in us. So perhaps instead of saying that God came into the world through Jesus, maybe it would be better to say that Jesus came out of an already Christ-soaked world. Maybe something to think about there as we just focus on our breath, adjusting our position, taking our usual 2 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feeling, sensing the rise of the belly with the in-breath and the fall of it on the out-breath. Place your hand there if you want. Just noting that rise and fall as a new sensation perhaps. Again, one that is going on all the time, but of which we take for granted. So the wonder of the vastness of creation, but the wonder too at the intricacy of the human body. Air filling the lungs, diaphragm being pushed down and the belly rising. And tonight let's just concentrate more on the out breath. Think of it as a letting go, We're letting the spent air escape from the lungs. But as we breathe out, maybe the shoulders relax. Maybe if there's any tightness in the belly region, any anxiety, any tension, let the breath loosen that. Loosening, letting go. Letting go too of any thoughts that are occupying your mind just now. Become aware of them. Name them. Notice them. Put them aside. You can come back to them later. And then bring the attention back to the breath. Sustaining, nourishing breath fills us and then can help us to let go, to loosen, to relax. Loosening the tightness. Maybe letting any thoughts, visualize any thoughts that are occupying you, just to let them go with the breath. So as you continue to breathe, just some thoughts on, I mentioned that we would have a thought or two about prophets. Richard Raw this year has a theme called the prophetic path. And of course, the figure of Jesus himself, whose birth has been marked at Christmas. Amongst his various titles is that of prophet, though I'm not sure that figures always, but certainly those who met him, some named him as such. In Luke's Gospel, when he's raised a young man, apparently from the dead, a great prophet has risen amongst us. God has visited his people, they cried. And as such, he stood in a long line of people named as prophets, or messengers, for those bringing messages, interpreting God's purpose and meaning. We probably found in all religious traditions a relationship and an intimacy with the divine, a oneness, a connection. And although sometimes they criticized and might have been thought of prophesying doom, they also prophesied marvelous futures, seeing the potential of life, hearts filled not with cynicism, negativity or opposition, but with ecstasy that has to be shared. And such fullness of life often challenged the existing religious structures, the leaders, the temple. And so the prophet's most frequent critics turned out to be those who were the standard bearers of religious institutions. We see this in Jesus himself. It's ironic, isn't it, that although prophets come out of religious experience, they often find themselves attacked by religion itself. All too often exiled, or even like Jesus, killed by the religious establishment. And sometimes I think we envisage or we think of prophets as being lone figures, but they actually have oneness and connection with their community, acting on behalf of community, dependent on the community for help when they need it. A good example is Moses, who when he's exhausted, God instructs him or guides him to assemble the elders, to look to the community. Paraphrasing, I told you to do it. I didn't tell you to do it alone. How many of us, I wonder, are carrying burdens that are not ours? The work of living, dying, raising family, leading, serving was never meant to be solitary work. So I wonder, in our work, the work with which we are involved, who is our community? If we're called to the prophetic task, and I suspect that in some aspects we all are, where is our prophetic community that will feed and support and guide and help? I know I'm very often guilty of trying to do too much in my own strength and not thinking of who that community of practice, to use a modern phrase, is that I can turn to for support and guidance and help. But there's no doubt that that is needed. Both the prophetic voice and the support for that voice is needed more than ever. So return to the breath. We've 3 hours tonight talking of rest and relaxation and reflection. So as you return to the breath, do so bringing a sense of gratitude to bear. You might want to feel again the rise and fall of the belly, or you may want to place your hand on the left side of the chest, or to feel your pulse, to feel your heart beating. Whichever works for you, that rhythm of life in you, bring to mind something for which you are grateful, maybe a loved one, or a favourite place, or a group of people that constitutes your community. Something that makes you smile with spontaneous, unconditional love and joy. Wherever you have your hand, bring that particular thought from your mind and place it right under your palm. Relax the mind and let your heart relax at the same time. Allowing your muscles, your chest to open in warmth and love for that particular loved object. And now, knowing that we are all connected, that sense of love flowing, of oneness, place a more challenging situation, an issue, maybe a person. Place them under your palm. It could be a current challenge. It could be something that has niggled for a long while. But hold the situation, hold the person close under your palm and continue to smile. Notice what it is that causes concern or irritation or anger or even pain. But hold with love. And if you can continue to smile at the fragility, the suffering, or the misunderstanding that makes it this way. Consider that there may be reasons why this thing brings hurt. But give the person or the problem to your heart and ask your heart's wisdom and love to take over. Resting in the great love that loves both you and the other. And wants to transform all into its loving image. And finally, moving to our time of longer silence via a modern day prophet, somebody I discovered recently, a poet called Dedan Gills, who was a founder member of the Black liberation movement, an advocate for human rights and for the environment. Work to integrate permaculture, environmental awareness, and the greening of the inner spirit for healing and recovery. He touched many souls while actively and simultaneously addressing their physical, material, and emotional wounds. And these lines from a poem of his called I Am. I am old and wise as the night. I am as beautiful as a bird in flight. I am the moon and the sea. I am the robin and the bee. I am the soil and I am the tree. I am the lion and the gazelle. I am heaven and I am hell. I am the ring and I am the bell. I am the joy and I am the tear. I am the brave and I am the fear. I am the blistering desert. I'm the freezing snow. I'm the cringing coward and the gentle hero. I'm the aged and I am the young. I am the weak and I am the strong. I am the smile and I am the frown. I am the pauper and I am the crown. I am the wrong and I am the right. I am the day and I am the night. I am now and I am never. I am yesterday and I am forever. I am the bitter and I am the sweet. I live on the hill and I live on the street. I am red, black, yellow, brown and white. I love, hate, laugh, cry and fight. All the universe is reflected in me. I am all that ever was and ever will be. When I lose, it's the lesson that I win. Judging others is my sin. And so we move to our time of silence with those words. Maybe using the image on the screen to focus on the wonder of creation, or continue to, through your hand on your heart, to hold something in gratitude, or to hold something that's challenging and seek its healing. Or simply to use your breathing to rest, to relax. So as we come out of silence, to the track In Light Ascending, just gently opening our eyes if they've been closed. Perhaps taking another deep breath. Moving our fingers, moving our toes. Going from here with a sense of oneness and wonder. Of closeness and connection. And a closing prayer. To you we come, O wisdom without end. In you we rest, O mercy without limit. Only in you are we fully alive. Only in your light can we truly see. Only in your strength are we safe to pursue our way. Amen.